Hi there. If you're watching this on YouTube, or you're wanting to watch any of my content on my channel, or both for that matter, I would strongly recommend hitting the subscribe button and comment and like on any videos if you may wish, because this is a general audience channel. Also, this video is not made for kids, it is for older fans and adults alike. So please sit back and enjoy the video. Two Scottish Engines and a Diesel. Written and told by July Leonard. Edward the Blue Engine loves running his branch line. It starts from Wellsworth, connecting with the main line at the bottom of Gordon's Hill to Brendam Docks. Naturally, he runs the line all by himself, but he can't handle it all, as he is a banking engine as well. So he has the assistance of both Bill and Ben and Donald and Douglas, and to keep him company as well. One morning, Edward was resting at Wellsworth sheds at his station when a big diesel honked its horn and rolled up alongside him. The diesel was very long. It was painted green with yellow warning panels at each end, 6 bogie wheels at the front end, 4 bogie wheels at the back, and a number D5702. The Fat Controller climbed down and made an introduction. "Edwards, here," he said, "is Diesel 5702. "Excuse me, sir," the Diesel cut in. "Call me Boco, please." I mean Boco, the new diesel engine to assist you with the workload on your branch line," the Fat Controller continued. "I have agreed to give him a trial, and if he does well, then I'll be more than happy to have him a part of my railway. Please show him what to do." And with that, he walked away. "Boco, is it?" asked Edward. "Yes," replied Boco. "You must be Edward. A pleasure to meet you." "Why are you called Boco?" Edward asked, puzzled. "It's because of my wheel configuration called a Kobo, but in reverse," came the reply. "I like Boco better than Kobo. I also happen to be a Metropolitan Vickers Diesel Electric Type 2. Eventually, the two engines went off together and enjoyed themselves, as they were soon friends with each other. They didn't mind what job they tackled, coaches, trucks, and shunting alike. The coaches behaved well, but the trucks knew better than to try any tricks, and in no time, the trains ran on time. That night at Wellsworth Sheds, Edward was telling Boco about how they had diesels with a bad reputation during their trials in the past years. "I'm sorry to hear that, Edward," he said. "But to be honest, I'm nothing like those diesels that you engines had to deal with these past years." "I know, Boco," replied Edward. "Anyhow," went on Boco, "back on the mainland, me and my siblings would break down consistently, and sometimes our cab windows would fall off. Your controller was lucky to charter me when he found a way to have these problems fixed." "Yes, he certainly was," chuckled Edward. And with that, the two engines fell asleep. Over the next few days, Boco was allowed to pull mainline trains, as well as the express after James's incident with some bees, despite Gordon's jealousy. He even told the other engines stories of Bill and Ben, and how he knew Edward, They soon became friends with him, all except Donald and Douglas, the Scottish engine twins. Boco tried to be friendly with them, but to no avail, which made him very sad. "He may be a diesel," said Doug firmly, "but that doesn't mean Boco's like those that boast about steam engines being out of date." "Pah!" snorted Douglas. "If it weren't for those diesels, our siblings back on the mainland wouldn't have been scrapped." "Aye, I'm with you there, Dougie," replied Donald, and they puffed away. Meanwhile, Boco was telling Edward all about them. "Don't worry about those two," said Edward soothingly. "I'm sure they'll come to terms about that some diesels aren't bad." One day, Boco was all by himself. He was looking after the branch line whilst Edward was having his frame and splashers mended after pulling in a heavy enthusiast train during a stormy night. As he was shunting at Wellsworth Yard, Donald and Douglas passed by with a heavy goods train and gave him cold looks. They pressed on Gordon's Hill, but the trucks held them back. The twins struggled, pulled, and strained, but the wheels slipped and spun helplessly. Finally, they came to a stop and backed the train down safely. Boco volunteered to push them up the hill, and with the acceptance of the station master and signalman, it was arranged. At first, Donald and Douglas weren't too keen, but then they now realized that Boco wasn't bad. "We're sorry we were rude," said Donald. "Same here," agreed Douglas, and Boco forgave them. Soon he came up behind the brake van, the guard blew his whistle, and they were off. They struggled up the hill with all their might, and at last the Scottish twins made it to the top and coasted down the hill, while whistling to Boco as a thank you. Even the fat controller was pleased with him for it, and Boco had his number D5702 swapped for a number D2 as a permanent member of the NWR. For the next few days, Boco helped Donald and Douglas with their goods trains, and the other day they remarked, "For a diesel, young Boco's nae such a bad sort of engine." That, from the Caledonian engines, was high praise indeed. James the Bee's Knees. Based on the Railway Series book Mainline Engines, Content Number 2, Buzzbuzz by the Reverend W. Audrey, and the TV series adaptation by Britt Allcroft and David Mitton. Adapted, edited, and told by July Leonard. One evening, James came back to Titmouth Sheds with a red nose after he was stung by a bee. As he puffed into one of the sheds' berths, he heard the other engines, including their new diesel Boco, talking about a new kind of beehive on wheels. It was red, they said. Then they all said buzz, 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 and laughed a lot. James thought that the big mainline engines were being very silly indeed. Silence fell when the vicar of Wellsworth came to see him. "Thank you for saving my bees," he said. "It's a pity it's not Christmas. Then we could call you James the Red-Nosed Engine." Everyone laughed, even James. "By the way," said Boco, "what happened to you after you left the big station leaving the stranded express?" Everybody fell silent again and began listening, while James cleared his throat and told them his story. After James left Knapford Station while being swarmed by a swarm of bees, the Fat Controller sent Boco to rescue the stranded express to make up for lost time. "But, sir," said Boco, "what about my trucks? I was rostered to take them back to Edward Station." "Don't worry, Boco," said Duck. "I'll look after them for you." And so it was arranged. In the meantime, James and his crew had tried everything to get rid of the bees. First they spun on a turntable, but to no avail. They tried washing them off, but the bees clung harder to James's warm boiler. Then they tried smoking them off by going through a long tunnel, but still the bees wouldn't go away. "It's no good, James," said his driver at last. "We'll just have to go to the vicarage orchard and fetch another hive." The fireman agreed, whilst James's reply was drowned by the sound of buzzing. The vicar of Wellsworth was waiting anxiously for James. When he arrived, the bees swarmed straight into their new home. "Come on, James," said his driver. "What you need now is a good hose down." And they puffed away. "And that was how I got rid of those bees," finished James. At that moment, the Fat Controller drove up. "James, although the incident wasn't your fault, I was not pleased with you leaving your passengers behind. However," he went on, smiling, "you found the vicar's bees a new home in the orchard, so we'll say nothing more about it." "Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir," said James, and then apologized to Boco. Instead of calling James the Red-Nosed Engine, they decided to call him the Bee's Knees, which means they thought he was more useful than ever. But compared to Gordon's jealousy of Boco pulling the express, well, I'm afraid that's another story.